as we started, as we started this conversation about modesty, it's really the pressure is on women. So when in marriage, it's always a compromise. Oh, babe, I think you should tone it down.
My thing is, when you saw me,
was she already toned up? Was she already like that when you were dating? When you got engaged? The 2 weeks before you got married?
That's one of the things you liked about her.
Is just supposed to turn off?
No, it's not. Like all right, so
when we say
is it okay to gradually expect?
Well, I mean, that goes both ways. It's the same thing we do with men. We're expecting, like, we already know he's not a good dude, but we're expecting somehow that we're gonna marry him and he's gonna change. And I think that's the issue.
Not a good dude, I'm not marrying him.
No. But you understand what I'm saying? A lot of women do this with men.
But that's an action in like them as a person.
When I say not a good dude, they probably have wondering eyes. They're a flirt, and then you get married and you expect them.
No, so if in the before marriage phase, if that's an issue, you don't get married. But how the person looks wasn't an issue for you before the marriage, and no, after the I do, it's an issue.
And it's the same thing.
That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking.
I give y'all a perfect situation. Y'all get married at 22 years old. You get married early, right? Okay. You're still growing spiritually. Mm-hmm. You're still maturing in the things of God. Mm-hmm. Once you get like 35 years old, listen, you get 35 years old. This is an example, right? You got married when you was like 21.
Long time.
Right, long time from that. You get married at 35.
Long time ago.
Right. You get married at 35. Your husband be like, because I don't know, I'm gonna just say spiritual growth, or let's just say he becomes okay, I can slip this in there. He becomes a leader in the church or something like that, or whatever, right? So he wasn't a leader when you got married, right? Wasn't a leader when you got married. Didn't have a lot of responsibility to the things of God or to the people of God. All of a sudden, both of you guys are 35 years old, and you used to dress. You used to dress, very.
Like, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
If you dress whatever, nobody was focusing.
All of a sudden, he not fake. Let's have a talk, right? I love you. You do great. You my baby, whatever. But can we tone this down? What are you gonna say to him? And I don't even think you're gonna have a problem with it.
Okay.
I don't think.
Okay.
She not.
No. Let her answer.
So I just feel like this is like a switch, right? Because as you guys are growing in your marriage, you are growing in your spiritual walk as well, I hope, right? So like, as if my husband were to take up an official position in the church, I feel like in that gradual, like him growing in God, I will also be growing in God. I will learn to turn away from my former ways that may not look like God, right? Yeah. I don't feel like it should be, or it will be, that my husband has to tell me, oh, you have to turn it down.
The Holy Spirit will
like you are growing with your husband,
right? On your own, not my husband say,
right? Like today, you need to change. Today,
no, but that's not what I said.
Have a conversation about it.
I just said
that's how y'all perceiving it.
I just said he came to you and was like, babe.
I didn't say that. It's like whatever we said. It's like that's what y'all hearing. Y'all heard.
No, I know. I do hear you. I'm being actually.
I hate to say
this is my wife who I love. I'm not gonna come at her side.
I don't feel like that would have. Okay, if I am a mature, godly woman, that growth that you're experiencing as a man, I will also be experiencing as a woman.
Right? Yeah.
So it's like, as I said,
as a man, don't feel like.
I will get convictions of that.
Facts.
So I don't think it's.
But as your life partner, is it wrong for the man just to talk?
No, we said earlier have a conversation. You can have a conversation.
But are y'all gonna receive it?
And hopefully,
don't y'all have that?
No, are y'all receiving it? How y'all just received
it? But
a
lot of times,
and then that's why I think Sherry just mentioned, and too with that example, before you even accept that position,
have conversation.
I would like to know that you would have a conversation with your wife about it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I
think
that's just something. I mean, she's there with me. Obviously, like she said,
before you even accept it and just talk about expectations and how your life will change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, I don't think I can agree with her on this one thing. If both of you people are in sync and they're growing together, I don't think it's gonna be a problem. Whether he said or whether he don't, it's not going to be a problem. y'all whole thing is
How it's coming off is like y'all don't say it. That's how it's coming off. Like don't even.
It's a symptom of the society that we live in. I do believe so. I do believe so. Because the way you guys heard what he was saying was like, you are not allowed to tell me anything.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, so I'm gonna
say that was lying, bro. Oh my God.
They didn't see that.
You heard what I said. I was like, listen, I was gonna come to you and I was gonna be like, babe, this is what.
It's like, I don't like the way you're doing it.
And it's okay for your husband to tell you to do something. Just like it's okay for your wife to tell you to do something, y'all. I don't get why people get so triggered with that. If your husband tell you to do something, you're married. Even if you don't want to do it, do it. If your wife tell you to do something, you married, bro. Man, y'all, come on, man. Nah, listen, come on. Listen, no.
Yes.
No, man. There's no extremes. If I tell you to go run your head into that door and we married, you better look at me and tell me, boy, you better go about your business. That's what you better do.
Wisdom.
Yeah. But if your husband be like, for whatever reason, hey, we married, sweetheart, we ain't on this right now. You might just have to be like, man, this dude tripping. And that's what it is. If your wife tell you, well, I'm sorry, but I don't think that's it. Look, you might, as the man and the person in the door, you might got to go sit down and be like, all right, I'm going to let her get this. That's compromising marriage, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't get to do what you want to do in the marriage.
I don't.
Rather a man or a woman.
But I think that's the difference in the communication.
Because what I said, I said
we perceived it.
Why did you guys perceive it that way?
That's my thing to
Vanessa didn't perceive it that way, and she married.
Still married.
Yes, she did.
Wow. I'm glad you said it.
Wow.
I'm glad you said it.
I'm glad you said it. Y'all heard that? Y'all heard that?
I don't understand.
That's why I went to Vanessa.
Come on,
when I had
kid.
to say what I had to say.
Come on.
Vanessa, let us know. Let me know if I'm
We have to
wrong.
remember that Vanessa is a seasoned married person.
Don't use that as an excuse, though.
How?
No. Okay, here we go. Watch this. What you're now telling me is just because you're young doesn't necessarily mean that you'll have because you're young, you'll have a problem with being submissive, because that's not necessarily the case. The majority of young women do. The majority of young men do. Why? Because they have,
they don't really know what submission is.
well, why don't they know what submission is?
They don't see it.
Nah, it ain't taught correctly.
They don't see it.
Well,
How you don't see it if everybody's getting divorced?
Well, the church don't teach it correctly neither. Like now,
How they gonna teach it if the people that are divorced?
man, they ain't listening.
How do I see it?
When you heard him say that, did you feel like he was trying to control you?
Be honest. Yeah, listen, be honest. Come on, man, be honest. See, that's it.
But they never
that's
understand
why I only
where
have
she is.
No, I get it, because your first response was defensive. It was like, bruh, you can't tell me.
And I understand that.
What to do.
Okay.
I said why though? Because I just feel like it's like in the scenario it was like that. You know what I mean? It wasn't like yes, we're maturing together, and it's like I am still in this 22 mindset. I'm not in the 35 mindset that we're in together.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's where I was gonna say that being that she's 22. Vanessa 35 and seasoned in the marriage where she probably was not. She's talking from a point of mature. She was probably where Alyssa was. Okay. So I could now understand why they had that perception, because they're not just at that part yet to understand. That's what. However,
I hope there was a conversation.
I'm still with you, my dog.
But I like to teach. You don't, bro. You don't have to. I promise you.
No.
You don't have to wait until you get 30 and 35 in order to get things right when it comes to God.
So
bro.
are you okay? If your wife wanted to ask,
no.
I just want to know, if your wife came to you
like
like that, like you would go to her, if she came to you like that and say, you know, babe, I think that you should tone down and stuff, you would be okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. That's just it for me. Like, it's not you just saying, babe, change this. Yeah, exactly.
Here's the reality too, though.
Because we're here to support each other.
But when you got called in ministry, because y'all married, she got called into it too.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like example, if we date and I decide I want to be the president of the United States,
Okay, president.
all kinds of big things. Have you ever seen Obama? I think I've seen Obama once or twice. Not in the
saw
suit.
what happened to Melania.
Oh, Melania wasn't there. Melania
Even if, like, say, scenario, that was Alyssa's response as a married person to be like, well, I'm still gonna do now, because it's gonna be situations that I heard from my other people that were married that when they have their conversations with their partners and the partner just like, man, whatever, I'm still gonna do this. As a man, you do not be like, girl, you better do. All you now do is just, as long as you submit yourself to God and be praying, they'll have the conviction to be like, man, I didn't even want to do this, but look at him all being submissive to God. The conviction will happen where they will follow through, even though their initial reaction was just like, psst. So we have to also not get caught up in arguing on the initial step. If they don't receive it, now just lead by example, and they'll follow.
Right.
You know
Well, hopefully they'll follow, because a lot of people be, bro, your life be off the chain. I know ain't nothing to do about it, bro.
But she was like that when you married her, bro.
That don't make you right. Y'all keep saying
But
this,
she was
bro.
like that.
Y'all keep saying,
somebody
bro.
No, we're not
saying-
stop. We're not saying that makes it right.
No, what
We're
I'm saying
saying is that you had a
how do you
choice
complain
to.
about something that has happened prior to
Because it's not
the marriage?
Because it's not complaining. The life of a Christian is a
For example, complaining for example.
the life of a Christian is a life for growth and development. You just don't stay.
And just
don't
because
say it.
I overlooked,
man.
all right.
You grow.
Just because I marry you, that doesn't mean that
change.
you were perfect and
Come
I was
on, man.
perfect. There's certain things that you overlooked. There's something that I'm just like, all right, that's not a deal breaker, so we'll work with it. So now we're in the marriage and we're just working.
It's ruined by research that even in relationships, almost every 5 years they say people change.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is a lot of times they don't change at the same time.
It's cool.
And then we have to be
You still
patient.
make an adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. Husbands love your wife like
Yeah.
Christ
Like who
loves
they
you.
change
But
into.
hey, but when her changes come and when your changes come, do you think it's okay to deal with it in a certain manner?
Wait, say it again.
When your change doesn't come, if her change doesn't come at the same time your change doesn't come, you have to kind of grace that.
Yeah.
I believe
Grace.
I
Thank
believe.
God for grace.
I believe.
Look at these shades.
All right, hold on. I believe you have patience with that, right? Now, since we married, we finna go up under our rules, what we want to do, or we finna go up under these biblical rules and how God say do it. Which one you want to take?
I'm gonna tell you, it depends on what the habit has been. And y'all,
All right,
y'all
that
22,
could be
y'all
different.
22, y'all got married.
Mhm.
Y'all didn't care about bills. Y'all credit all jacked up. Bills all late. You wake up one day and realize, dang, being broke ain't fun. She still, I gotta look cute, baby. I don't have time for that. And you decide you gonna pay bills. Of course you're gonna talk to your wife. Hey, this is what I want to do. And if she's a good wife, I would say, because a wise woman builds a house, not tears it down, right?
Robert.
Okay.
Right.
So at that point, hopefully you got because you're godly and mature. Hopefully you found that godly mature woman you said you got.
Cool. Fine.
Can I say something?
Wait, I agree.
Listen, and that's why people on the internet, that's why in most of these episodes that we talk about, we stress the importance of fundamental values when you're getting married and to make sure that you're on the same page. If we are coming into marriage and we know that marriage is for a purpose and there is a purpose for us being married, when we change, we go through our changes, we should still be sticking to the purpose and the goal of our marriage. And is this going to help us do this purpose? Is this going to further our purpose, further the goal of the marriage? Being broke,
Bad credit.
right? Bad credit or not? And if we're on the same page, it doesn't matter if she wants it or not. She's gonna be like, babe, facts.
Right.
I gotta pull it together because we have a purpose here.
That's
There's a
awesome.
purpose for our marriage. And that goes on all aspects. The way I dress, the way we speak, the way we do everything concerning the union.
In general.
In general.
Yeah. No one gets to, I'm finna slide my way. No, you ain't. I don't get to, I'm finna no, you ain't.
Just
If
don't
they
get to
do
do
it,
it.
you don't get to do it.
That's
Stay
fine.
single if you want to do whatever you want to do. That's what I tell people. If you don't want nobody asking you to do something, and that's just being nice. I'm for real. Hey,
I don't think
Paul
that's what we're
said-
saying either. I don't think we were
Yeah,
saying
you
that. We
that
weren't
kind
saying
of
that
read off to what
either.
it was.
What y'all was saying?
Yeah.
Rewind the tape.
Reiterate.
Yeah, because
Reiterate. I personally feel like y'all tell me if I'm wrong on this one. A lot of women nowadays, they want to get after we get a job. A lot of them want to get married. What's the difference in being married and being a wife? Is there a difference? Can y'all break that down for me?
Mm-hmm.
Can you break it down? Listen, can you break it down?
Say it again.
What's the difference in being married but actually being a wife? Because a lot of people married, but are they necessarily wives?
That can only be answered from experience.
Woo, Vanessa, this is put you on the hospital.
I've never been married.
I know there's a different right.
You got the title now if you're walking in your title.
Oh.
Okay, right, right.
Or being a good wife, a good woman.
Because there's plenty of pastors out there, but are they walking in their pastoral shit?
All right,
There's plenty of fathers out there.
There's a lot of prophets out there.
Hey, boy, if you got some kids, you a daddy. Whether you a good one or bad.
I was just about to say,
okay, that's
either a good dad or a bad dad. You're either a good wife or a bad wife.
Some men just want you to
that good wife.
Your title comes with the promotion of being married.
Yep, man.
Now, whether you're good at it or not, that's a different story. Whether you were trained at it is a proper story. You know.
Same with husbands.
Because I think we don't talk about training.
I feel like we've been bringing out women a lot.
No, you can be a bad husband.
You're a husband.
Yeah, you're still a husband. You could be bad. You could be good.
Do y'all think when y'all get married to some? Do you think when you get married to the right person? Now, the right person, I think, will go along with when you make sure that the values are in place. So when you make sure that those are in place, I think when you are equally yoked, I'm using the word equally yoked. I think when you're equally yoked with a person, it's minimal argument, minimal stress, minimal changing. Because I've now come,
it's still
there,
but
it's there, but it's very minimal, and that's only because y'all on the same page, right? I now believe, you know how they would say opposites attract.
Can I tell you why I disagree with you on that? I'm gonna tell you why. Because I agree with you. When a lot of people get married at 22, they on the same page because both of them are mature. What happens when one matures?
So y'all, what do you say? Is modesty dead? No.
Nah, I don't think that's dead.
Modesty is evolving with the next generation.
It's evolving.
I think modesty is on its last leg.
You're like doomsday, bro.
No, for real though.
It's hanging on by a thread. A very tumultuous thread.
Are there some lines that are being crossed?
Chances of redemption.
There's always grace. There's grace for everything.
Yeah, it's just but like so. What is it about being that it's like say let's go for that thought of it being on this last leg? Is it because of our generation just don't want to be told anything, or is it that the generation that's supposed to be speaking is not saying anything because like which?
Yeah, it's an accountability thing.
Power.
No one wants to be accountable to anyone other than themselves. I'm my own boss, and I define my life. I define, and it's all about me. It's an I society, and that is truly the Antichrist spirit. That spirit of me, and unfortunately, that's where we are because everyone has their own definition of what everything should be, and it's always on the outlining of what the word says.
And to reiterate my answer to why I say it's evolving, I do believe it is evolving per generation because it's coming out of religion, most modest actions or precepts about that. However, compare what she's saying, I think we're confusing how the road is so narrow and you find few travelers. But for the few travelers, we're still modest.
Amen.
Okay.
I like that.
I like that.
Because the Holy Spirit works and will always work.
Yeah.
The Holy
And
Spirit
you know
will
that
teach you.
it's so
You
true.
just have to listen.
Yeah.
And a scripture that comes to me is like when the prophet was it Elijah in regards to when he was like crying out to the Lord and said, God, I'm the only one that's still upholding your word and stuff like that, and he had to be like, nah, hold on. My dude, like I got like 70 other, prophets that did not bow down. So although sometimes we think that, all right, like, although there's a good amount of people that still just upholding. You just don't see them because probably they ain't on the gram. And they ain't on the
okay,
Facebook.
I have a question. I have a question.
What's up?
If you choose one time to wear something that may show a little more than you normally show, does that automatically mean that you are not a modest person? You're not a modest person.
I think it was.
no.
I think it becomes the intent of the heart of what you did.
So like what we said.
Agreed,
Okay.
but
If
unfortunately, what could happen is that one time that you
Could
were
be.
supposed to be an example to someone else,
You could be a stumbling block.
you were a stumbling
Right.
block.
Yeah.
So is God gracious,
Yeah.
merciful,
Yes.
and forgiving? Always.
Yeah.
We're never what we were yesterday because God is a God that forgives and He doesn't remember, right? He forgets it.
New mercies.
So new mercies every day. But these are the things we're talking about. The whole point of being modest is not for you.
Ooh.
It's not for you.
Yes.
It's for someone else.
And that's what Christianity is
And that's what
about. It's like-
Christianity is.
And I can say Christianity
That's
is denying one's self.
Yeah.
That is at the core value of it. Denying yourself, picking up your cross, meaning picking up your life that you're now finna go through, and it's going to represent God. We don't, as Christians, we don't get to do what we want to do. Sorry. Like
everything we do is for others.
It's for to glorify God.
And we are not always going to be perfect. You're not always going to get everything right of glorifying God. But that doesn't mean that we don't strive to do that. So, yeah. On that point, we
That was
good?
good, y'all.
All right. Well, thank you for another like tuning in for Truth at the Table. Y'all continue to follow us on Instagram, talk
share,
about it.
yeah.
We want to know. See, we've been talking. Hey, we want to see your comments. What do you have to say? So please go in the comment box
Or
and let us
send
know.
us video responses.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Video
we'll post you guys and
That'll be
send
so
in
good.
video responses.
Yeah, definitely. Let us know what your thoughts are on modesty. On can Christians be sexy?
know what you
Let us
said.
know.
All right. That's a wrap. There you go.